Hey, what's up guys? This is Brendan with Evoke Bike. So a little bit different video than normal, but I have a couple athletes that I have been telling make sure you foam roll. They've had some issues around their knee, foam roll, and they'll say, hey, it's finally going away. And I said, have you been foam rolling? They're like, well, I just started. I'm like, you gotta be massaging the muscles, and you don't have to go crazy with this. So I wanna hit on some of the top ones that I do that have helped me for many, many years. And this is always a work in progress. You know, I'll put on a recovery ride yoga stretches, and someone said, what are the specific ones? Really, you want to tailor this to you, to what you're going to find beneficial. For me, it's always IT band and hips, but I do kind of a general one around the foam roller. But really, I think it's the timing also. You know, another athlete did a yoga class, and he said, every time I do this, I feel like I need to do more yoga. And I said, well, do it when you make coffee, and do it when you're waiting to make your lunch. He works at home. Do it anytime it's socially acceptable. All these 20 to 30 second yoga poses that you can just like bang out when you're standing around add up over time. So really, one thing that I think really helps me out is almost not only the act of the massage, but the assessment that I get when I come back from a ride. As I'm getting ready to go in the shower, before I even take my bibs off, I take the stick and I roll, and you can tell right away if your IT band is blasted or not. And usually for me, it's the top and the bottom, so I'll give a little bit of extra care in there. It doesn't feel the best, right? Like you're digging in there a little bit to break up any knots and to get the blood flow really going there. And then I do the quad, and then the glute. I've had issues with my piriformis before right here, so there's a stretch that I'll do on the mat that has been really helpful for me. Remember that everything's connected. So if you have a pain in your knee, a lot of times it's something tugging in a weird way. Or if you're just getting into heavy weights lifting in the gym, like everything, as your muscles grow a little bit, things aren't gliding perfectly well, and it might make something else feel off, which is why you want to be doing this all the time. It keeps everything really fluid. So obviously quad, IT band, glute, hamstring, those are the big ones. Another little tip, when I get out of the shower and I use some like moisturizer, I'll use that on my leg to feel like if you get a knot that's forming in your leg, you'll feel it as you're putting moisturizer on. So I would use moisturizer more as like a massage tool than just to have radiant glowing skin. But when you get done, the key moves for me, having had an issue with my Achilles, is literally just a couple quick rolls on the Achilles tendon, go up by the calf, get that done, and then I just slide it up and do the IT band. I really find that when you have it where your knee is almost at that starting spot, that little connecting area is crucial to get. And then also up top, that gets very sore for me. And if you have to, go and flip and get on the front and just overhang. Guys, you gotta watch out for that thing so you don't roll over it, but you'll get the hang of it, and this actually feels really good right now. So do those. If you have one that has big ridges on it, you can really get the hamstrings as well. And just the hamstrings are obviously huge muscles, so you can dig in pretty well on those. The key for me is the glute. It's like you're sitting on it, and then you turn to the side so that it's flattened out, and I go up the back a little bit. And sometimes when you've been sitting and riding a bike like this, and even when you get off the bike, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, and your back just feels like you've been sitting way too long. When you do this, say you're on your left-hand side, and you pause, and you just kind of rotate a little bit, you might hear your back crack a little bit. I don't know if that's something that you're supposed to be doing, but it feels really good. Feels like it relieves a little pressure and almost releases some musculature back there. So hitting the piriformis, everyone knows it's had a piriformis issue. Lay on your back and cross your legs. You'll feel some tightness here. You don't want to be pulling super hard. Like, you don't want to really be stretching so that you feel the stretches. You just want to get them moving. If it's super tight, you're going to feel it. Go back a little bit and hold it there, and then release it, and then come back. You don't need to be killing yourself. Obviously, the basics, the downward dog, for me, getting some glute activation in. lift your leg up. If you're on all fours, some glute activators before and after are really good. I think the biggest thing that has been helpful of keeping my mind around the idea of bringing blood into the muscles. So Mineckham Brody talks in a podcast about sometimes you don't want to be stretching, you want to be strengthening. And part of this is just doing some holds and movements to keep everything flowing. I don't do a ton for upper body, but I don't have any real like shoulder kinks or weird issues. If you do, look up some stretches, try some different things. Just like everyone responds to different intervals at different times in different ways, stretching and releasing and taking care of your body is the same exact thing. You need to find something that's specific to you, and yes, it takes a little bit of work. But as we had posted on Instagram the other day, like, this sport is a lot of work. Stephen Bassett said it's all these little things that you have to do. Cycling is a lifestyle if you really want to do it to your highest level and capability. And if you're going all in and you're training 15, 20 plus hours a week, you need to do these little things. It'll really help you with longevity, but it will also help you with performance. So we kind of touched on, there's massage guns. You can use those as well. But really, I think the calf, the Achilles, the quad, the IT band, hamstrings and glutes, and just like paying attention to my back, maybe doing a cobra pose, getting down and arching your back up. Those are my big hitters, and really adding up all these little things. When I go from the stick to after the shower to the foam roller to, my other one for the hip is literally just sitting cross-legged, and that really helps. And then if you lay back and then go wider, it really can help open up your hips. I never used to be able to sit cross-legged until I worked on it. And it literally took probably 6 or 7 months until I could really get my hips opened. And one day, it just happened. And I always was a little kid wondering, like, why can't I sit that way? Like, I just never took the time to really help it like stretch and release, just had really tight hips, and realized it more as a cyclist. So hopefully that helps, but don't just do what I'm doing. Use this as a tool to motivate yourself, to put in the work, to find out what you need to do. Go to a yoga class, learn some poses, see what feels good. My last comment is don't go super ham at the class. You can injure yourself doing yoga. You can try and stretch too deep. You can do moves that your body is not ready for. So sign up for a beginner class and do the easiest version of all the poses. I've definitely think that when I was coming back from an injury on my Achilles, the yoga almost made it worse, because I was like, I'm an athlete, I can do all, that person's doing that, I'm gonna try and do that. I would advise against that. So, all right, stay healthy. Hope you guys have a great day. See ya.